and the advice that maybe she's given you, that's from her legal perspective, and she's trying to protect your daughter's legal rights because this is a criminal case, right? Are you ready on Claudia Aaron? Hello.
Hello, Judge.
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing good. Nice to meet you.
All right, nice to meet you too. So you're the father?
I am.
Okay. All right. So this is what I always tell parents. And I used to be a defense attorney, so I know how it is with parents. When parents have children, their child can be 30, their child can be 40, that's still their baby, and they want to be involved. And it's especially true when you have a child who is young, 17, 18. But here's the thing, in this world, they're all considered adults.
Okay.
And when they have an attorney or something, the relationship is between them and their attorney. I used to have to tell parents all the time because sometimes the parents would hire me. And I used to have to sit down with parents and say, hey, you've hired me, you're paying me, but that's the end of our relationship. You can't be a part of discussions I have with my client because guess what? If you're part, I would tell them, if you're a part of discussions I have with my client, then there's no attorney-client privilege. And you know what ends up happening with that? When there's no attorney-client privilege, guess what? You can be called as a witness. Anybody who's in that room having a conversation, it's all fair game. They can be called as a witness. And maybe sometimes there is something that maybe a client wants only their attorney to know, and they don't want other people to know. But when parents are in the room, guess what? That all goes by the wayside. And sometimes we have to let our children go and let our children be adults. So on this side of the fence, I would always tell parents, it's great. I need you to be supportive. I need you to make sure that my client, your child, is keeping their mental health great. They know that everybody is rooting for them and are a part of their team. And I would tell them, but that's where it ends. And it can't go past that because when it does, there's an issue. And let me just tell you my experience with one case I had in the past. Had this client very young. Mother wanted to be 100% in the conversations, even though I would tell them, hey, you shouldn't be in this conversation and you cannot be talking to your child about what happened because guess what? You can be called as a witness. They wouldn't listen to me. And so when it came time to do a plea bargain agreement, the parent is in the hallway, and I can tell you this because they were in the hallway shouting, so everybody heard, so it's not confidential. So they're like, I want my child to do A, B, and C. And you know, I told them, I said, that's your child's choice. Because guess what? If your child chooses A, B, or C, and if something ends up happening and they end up going to prison, the judge is not going to say, you know what, your child only chose A, B, and C because of you, so we're going to let you suffer the consequences. You understand?
I do.
And for some reason, with attorneys, people assume that being an attorney is easy and being a doctor is so much differently. Because if you go to see a doctor and you get a second opinion and a doctor tells you, oh yeah, your child needs a heart transplant, or oh yeah, we need to take the appendix out. A parent doesn't go to that doctor and say, well, I want to look at everything and let me just tell you how I think this appendix should be taken out. The person depends on the doctor, that the doctor knows what they're doing. And that's the same case. That's the same situation with these cases. And everybody needs to understand that. Cannot be crossing lines. Does everybody understand? Understand? All right. So that's the way it's going to be. So this is what's going to end up happening. We are going to come back and we're going to come back on June 27th. Counsel, is that enough time?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So we're coming back on June 27th. And let me just tell you the way this court is
Oh,
run.
well, you say 27th or 22nd?
27th.
I'm double booked. I've got a hearing on the 27th.
Okay.
But
All right. We can bring it back on the 24th.
yes, thank you.
All right. So we're going to come back on June 24th. This is the way things run in this court. I make sure that everybody has the discovery. So when the defense counsel and everybody tells me I've received all the discovery, next thing I do, I require the state to tender an offer to the defense. And the defense has an ethical and legal obligation to tender that offer to their client. and tell their client what the consequences are of the offer. Then I give everybody a plea deadline date because I want people to think about whether they want to accept the plea or not accept the plea. If they decide not to accept the plea, when I give them the plea deadline date, then that plea deadline date has expired and the next setting is going to be a jury trial. And if somebody after that plea deadline date has expired decide, oh gosh, I don't want to go to trial, the only way I'll accept a plea is for good cause. Otherwise, they'll have to plea open to the court. All right, everybody understand? Any questions, Dad?
I do have one
Sure.
question, Judge.
Yes.
When your child has a serious, persistent mental illness and a developmental disorder, and that is recognized and should be recognized early on in the Article 1622 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. And there's been multiple suicide attempts.
All right, let me stop you right there. So here's the thing. With regards to that, that is something for her attorney to address. What you should do as a parent is turn information over to the defense attorney if you think it's something that she needs to know or is something that her client wants her to know. You understand? So here's the thing, you got to cut the string. And when I say cut the string in the court, I mean court the card as in your daughter and her attorney need to be able to have conversations in private. Now, if her attorney wants information from you, then the attorney will ask you, say, hey, I need some information from you. These are records. Maybe I need these records. I'm trying to get these records. Do you have these records? This is something that I want to view. That's completely up to the attorney. But what you're telling me right now and quoting code sections to me, guess what that tells me? You're trying to be an attorney and you're not an attorney. Did you go to law school?
I didn't go to law school.
So there's the thing. People think that they can read penal codes. They can read the Code of Criminal Procedure and that's it. And not to step on anybody's toes, but for criminal law, when you're practicing criminal law, you know what your Bible is? Your Bible for your profession is this book. And you see how thick this book is? And so if I were not an attorney, guess what? I would see one section and I'm like, oh, that section says that. D is for done. But that's not the way it works. This entire code, guess what? You may read something in this section and still you have to go to this section because it all relates to it. It's similar to the Bible. And let me bring the Bible up for you. Some people will just read one section of the Bible and guess what? When you read that one section, that same person who is listed in that one section, there's somebody else in a different book that has something about that person in the other section. So when you just come away with one part of that section, you think, oh, I'm done, and you're not. And that's why you have to study this forward and backwards. And how many years have you been an attorney?
Over 20, and I'm board certified in criminal law.
All right, over 20, board certified in criminal law. So when people are throwing code sections out to her, let me just tell you, I know her. Every attorney in here knows her. And all attorneys know each other because when you've been in Bexar County practicing for over 20 years, people know you, people know your work. What I can tell you is she would not be board certified in criminal law if she didn't know this book and know the updated part of the book. And what do you do for a living?
I have been the president of an international Fortune 400 company in
Okay.
Mexico City.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
How would you feel is if you are doing that job, and how many years have you done that?
20.
You've done that for 20 years. And I just walk into your place of business and I'm telling you how to run things and telling you what the law is about something that you've been doing for all your adult life. maybe you wouldn't take offense about it, but I guarantee you when I left the room, you know what you'd probably say? Who does she think she is? She doesn't have a degree in this. She hasn't even worked in this field and is trying to tell me how to do it. And for me, that's with any job. For example, I wouldn't go to McDonald's and tell them how to cook their fries. I haven't cooked their fries. I don't know how to cook it. I would not go to a contractor and tell them how to pour concrete. I may think I know how to pour concrete, but the little things I know about pouring concrete, you have to have it at a certain temperature. Otherwise, it's going to crack. You have to mix it appropriately. That's why when you see people out here mixing all their concrete with quick concrete, sometimes it doesn't go right because there are certain things that experience, knowledge, and education treat you about it. So here's the thing at the end of the day. At the end of the day, this is her attorney. From what I've seen, it appears to the court that she's following through on all mental health issues if there are any. You know why I know? Because I put in here, refer to mental health court. And I know that she's been working on doing that. That's why it's in here. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. And you know how I know that? Because she requested it. So when you come to me about the code of mental health, I already know she knows about that because otherwise it never would have been requested. Sure.
And of course,
As long as you're not quoting the law to me.
I won't go for long, Your Honor.
Okay.
Of course, she did go to mental health and that's where we discussed, and that's the absolute right place to be. Just a month ago during a suicide attempt, I said, I really finally have insurance and I'd like to get inpatient care for her because it's a very, serious issue.
Okay.
And I was correct. No, let's hold off until we can get.
So here's the thing though. The advice that she's given your daughter and the advice that maybe she's given you, that's from her legal perspective. And she's trying to protect your daughter's legal rights because this is a criminal case, right? So that's what's happening. So what we're going to do, I'm sure she probably already has, but I'm sure she'll do it again. If your daughter wants to, she's going to discuss with her what the offer is. And we're going to come back. Either she's going to accept the offer, not accept the offer. And either we're going to be in jury trial or we're not going to be in jury trial. That's where we are. But I will tell you this, whenever you're meeting people and you're meeting people in their profession and you want to talk to them, don't quote them things about their profession. I know that she's not going to take it as a slight, but people tend to not like that because people pay more what the cost of a mortgage for their degrees, and they spend a lot of time, experience, and knowledge doing what they do. And I don't know of any defense attorney who would purposely try to lead their client down the wrong path. And I've never seen her try to purposely lead her client down the wrong path. And just my experience of a judge with her, I've never had to tell her what the law is. Okay. All right. Is there anything else?
There is.
Yes.
My client had a mental health evaluation that her father has possession of and is refusing to relinquish, from my understanding. I would like to get that today.
All right. So here's the thing. I can't force you to turn over things to her, but get this. She needs information in order to represent your daughter, right? So that's what she needs in order to represent your daughter. Whether you want to turn it over or not, that's completely up to you. Here's another thing I would always tell my clients and my clients' parents. This center of the courtroom, which we call the well of the courtroom, is a minefield. Your child, I am directing them on where to walk in this well. That's a minefield. I'm behind protected glass. I'm going to be just fine. But when I'm telling them to turn right, it's based upon all the information that you've given me or withheld from me. And when I tell them to turn right, I would always tell them they have no choice. They're going to go right. Now, when they turn right because of some information you haven't given me, and I'm going by the information that I have, is there going to be an explosion? If there's an explosion and it's because of some information you had that you didn't give me, that's all on you. So if people care about their children, this attorney, it's confidential. So if she receives something, guess what? It's confidential. It's something that she's received. Maybe it's something she wants to discuss with her client or not. It's not something that she is going to turn over to the state unless that's something she thinks should be done. So if you want to hold on to that, then that's up to you for holding on to it. But if you say you want to help your child and she's telling you she needs that information, I mean, what do you think she's going to do with the information? You know?
Well, I would say, I'd love to hear what her understanding of Michelle's mental.
Here's the thing.
Yeah,
Did you, I
sure.
want you to internalize what I'm saying. She doesn't have to talk to you. You're not her client. What she's telling you is you have information and I'm assuming you want her to see the information. So either you want her to see it and study it and give it to her, or you don't. If you don't, that's fine. I can't legally force you to turn that over to her. But what I'm telling you is if this is a child and you say you love your child, which I'm assuming you do, I've just told you the information you turn over to her is information you given to her. Her medical records are confidential. She's an adult, so I don't even know why you have them in the first place because she is an adult. Those medical records are her medical records. They are not yours. She is not a child in the eyes of the law. So if you have something that would help her attorney represent her better and you love her, you probably should turn it over. The end. That's it. The end. All right. So either are you going to turn that over to her or not? That's either yes or no.
I'm gonna give it to my daughter. If she wants to, it's a client, privilege between the two, and if she wants to.
All right. So just hand that over to your daughter now then. All right. Is there any other documentation that are medical records that belong to your daughter? And when I say belong to your daughter, her name is on it and it's related to her treatment. Do you have anything else?
Not with me.
All right. So this is what you need to do. Again, I can't force you to do it. Her medical documents are her medical documents. And do not interfere with her and her attorney relationship. You understand? So you can't give her her documents and then say, oh, I don't want your attorney to have it, or I don't want this to occur. You need to be a part of her having great mental health. And the way to do that is not put stressors on her. And don't put stressors on her by interfering with her relationship with her attorney. Because guess what? This atmosphere, being on the criminal side, is already stressed enough, whether somebody committed an offense or not. Can you imagine the stress that people have because they think maybe they're going to prison? People in the box, guess what? They're over there. They're brought over from the Bexar County Jail, not on bond, can't make bond or something else. Even though you may say, oh, my daughter's not like those people, or my daughter doesn't have criminal history. Guess what? Even if there's somebody over in that box who's been to prison before, guess what? Their heart is still beating fast because they don't know if they're going to go back to prison or not. So this is a stressful situation for her. Don't make it any more stressful. You understand? All right. Thank you very much. Court is calling 2024 CR 2669, State of Texas versus Omar Flores. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Robert Gear for defendant Omar Flores, judge, and we're ready.
Are you Mr. Flores?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
We have, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Flores, did you review with your attorney the application for deferred adjudication?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Flores, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions
Yes,
with
ma'am.
your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram? That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement, in this case, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this agreement, you were giving up those rights? And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? You're going to need to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe that he does.
Do you
Judge.
believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe that he is, Judge.
Mr. Flores, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $1,500 fine. State recommends deferred. Did you understand that to be the plea? State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
There have not, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 2 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 120 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations? Then to the offenses charged, how do you plea?
No contest.
State any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense is reviewed, Judge. We have no objections.
State you may be excused. Did you review the waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We are, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Flores, are you employed?
No, not at the moment. I got fired when I got arrested.
All right, so what, your prior employment, what were you employed as?
Okay.
All right. So do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am. I got 5.
All right, what are their ages?
7, 6, 5, and with 2, 1.5, and a newborn.
I'm sorry?
1.5 years old and a newborn.
All right, do they live with you?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
All right, so you have a drug problem, obviously.
Yes.
So how often are you using?
Not often.
What does that mean?
Like I just started using because I was tired last time. I had to. I
So,
just put my injury back.
I don't live with you, right? So how often are you using? And here's the thing, you need to be 100% honest with me, and this is why. Because you've already entered your plea. I've read the stipulations, and I'm trying to help you to make sure you're not back here for this. I'm trying to help you so that you'll be a good father to your children. And guess what? Everybody in this courtroom, we all have issues that we're trying to work through, right? And to be better people. So where you are now, hopefully it's not where you're going to end up. Where you are now, we're trying to get you to be a great father, right? And to be a clean and sober father. So I'm inclined to release you from custody, but I just need to know what we can do for you so that you'll be clean and sober. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So I used to always tell my clients, once you got a deferred agreement, now's the time to tell the court what you need help with,
Yes, ma'am.
so you won't be back here, okay?
Okay.
All right, so how often are you using?
I will use once every 2 days.
Okay, once every 2 days. All right, so this is what the court is gonna do. There's gonna be a $1,500 fine. The court is gonna probate that. I know both of you all wanted the court to consider 2 years, but the conditions of probation are up to me. So I'm gonna sentence you to 3 years deferred adjudication. If you complete everything successfully and you do well, your attorney can always come back and ask that you be terminated early, which is a good thing, which means released from probation early, okay? You're gonna do regular reporting by Zoom or in person. We can do a TAP evaluation and probation. It's okay to do that TAP evaluation out of custody. And probation, once that TAP evaluation is completed, if they recommend inpatient treatment, we'll start with intensive outpatient treatment. Do you want the TAP in custody? Yes. All right. So this is what we're going to do. The TAP evaluation and a referral to felony drug court will be in custody. What I can tell you, it's Thursday. Felony drug court, they'll be able to see you by the 1st of next week, okay? And I'm going to make sure that we check on it to make sure it's done. They're pretty quick with their evaluation. Here's the thing. Felony drug court is an intensive treatment, but they're probably going to start with you with outpatient treatment. It will be very important for you to be in that program because they will be able to be rigid and stay on you and make sure you're going to be a good father. You understand? So when they come to interview in jail, just lay it all out there. Let them know what their problems are and that you need help. And that's what they're going to be there for. So they'll help you with that. They're going to help you with employment. They're going to help you be a great father to your children. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we'll do a TAP evaluation and referral to felony drug court in custody. Proof of employment within 45 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. How far did you go in school?
I'm a high school graduate.
All right. So what do you want to do with the rest of your life as far as employment?
I'm actually into construction.
All right. So I'm going to order 120 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to waive those hours if you obtain some sort of trade school certificate.
Okay.
I will tell you, welding, being a plumber, they make a lot of money. They make more money than I do, probably. Not probably, they do. So there's always a need for welders and there's always need for the plumber. And guess what? If somebody calls you out for a plumbing job on the weekend, that's going to be super expensive. So I'll waive that if you obtain a trade school certificate. I am going to order parenting classes. And there should be 120 sober meetings in 120 days. Field visits 1 time per month for 4 months. And there'll be no unsupervised contact with minors. Now, let me just tell you the reason I'm doing that, because I want to make sure you're clean and sober. Sometimes when people are in the throes of their addiction, I think you can agree with me, they're not the best parents. And you have every intention of doing right, but you hear of too many cases where people are not in their sobriety and maybe a child is wandering around outside, runs in the street. You don't want that, right?
No, ma'am.
All right, probation. Is there anything else he needs? I'm sorry?
UA.
Yes. All right, so we'll do regular random UAs. All right, is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, did you review the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with your attorneys? Did
Yes.
you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. To be successful on probation in this court, communication is key.
Yeah.
If you have an issue, if you think you're going to use, or you just need somebody to talk to, call your probation officer.
Yeah.
If you feel as though they're not addressing your issue, you can always come back to court.
Yes.
All right. So the state offered you deferred. Your attorney wanted you to have deferred. I agreed to have you on deferred. You know what that means? That means that we think that you are going to do well.
Yes.
Otherwise, we would not have offered it. Okay.
I understand.
All right. Good luck to you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to go on the record in 2024 CR 3624, State of Texas versus Ramsey Ibrahim for the state.
Mr. Adelman? Mr. Adelman?
Yes. All right. For the state. All right. For the defense.
Jason Wolf?
And are you Mr. Ibrahim?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So on the record, let's take up the motion to withdraw. Counsel, are you withdrawing that motion?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So where are we on discovery?
Judge, I was prepared to present my argument on the violation report. I do not know that we have complete discovery. It was our very first setting on May the 12th. He's had his issues. He had a violation report along the way and is in custody. I was prepared to address that. I did confer with the state at that first setting that we had.
Mhm.
My goal was to get Mr. Ramsey prepared to get an offer from the state at the next setting. And if I know the court would like to push this, given the certain situation, but my goal would be asked to reinstate him, that he can get back in compliance with the Center for Healthcare Services, start reporting to the doctor. He has been diagnosed with depression and ADHD.
Okay, so just 1 second.
Yes, Judge.
So state, this is coming back on Ms. Ferguson, if you'll do a reset form, this is coming back on July 15th. On July 15th, state you need to be prepared to tender an offer to the defense.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, now let's address the reason he's in custody.
Okay, Judge, my apologies for getting ahead of it.
It happens. Let me see if I can find his violation report.
I have it, Judge.
Thank you. All right, so Mr. Ramsey, is Ramsey your last name or first name? All right, Mr. Ibrahim, can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up so that the court reporter can hear.
Okay.
All right. So the reason why the violation report was issued for you is because I received a report that there was non-compliance from you, that you were not following through on what they wanted you to do. And then I set it for a hearing and you didn't appear. So your defense counsel is asking that I recall the warrant. State, are you going to be objecting to the recall of the warrant?
No.
All right. State is in agreement that I recall the warrant. So what do you have in place, or defense, what does he have in place so that he can make his appointments?
Judge, he had lost service to his phone. He's informed me he's going to go ahead and get a prepaid card so that the court and myself can maintain contact with him. He will report as soon as the court wants him to report to the Center for Healthcare Services. He has had a previous doctor who he had been seeing, Mr. Favor, who passed on Memorial Day. Since having been arrested, he made about 3 or 4 telehealth appointments with that doctor for his diagnosis. He's going to get another doctor, but will continue to report to the Center for Healthcare Services if that's what the court wants.
And he was on a PR bond?
He was, Judge. I would ask that please to reinstate that. He still does not have much money. And the goal is to get all the discovery, Judge, so I can move this case forward as quickly as the court needs.
And does he have a place to live?
He does, Your Honor. I believe he lives with his parents. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to recall the warrant,
Thank you, Your Honor.
reinstate the PR bond. I'll ask that fees be waived, and you'll have to check with the clerks to see whether or not a new application must be filed. We'll
Okay.
figure that out today.
Okay. Okay.
And then the other thing, Ms. Ferguson, if you can speak with his pretrial services officer, Isabel Castro Smith, to see what time do they want him to appear to see them. And then I'm also going to order that you re-enroll in services with Center for Healthcare Services. Now, if you have another doctor that you're seeing, your defense counsel has told me that, you'll need to let pretrial services know, and we'll see if that's acceptable for them, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so counsel, if you'll remain, they're going to contact the pretrial services officer to see when they want him to report.
Will do, Judge. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
This way.
Seth McDonald.
I'm covering that case for Monica Godetto, Your Honor.
All right, if he'll come down. All right, can you let him know his client needs to appear at pretrial services on the 17th? Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, what happened to your eye?
Well, the young guy punched me in my eye. The blacks paid him.
I'm sorry, what?
At the jail.
Blacks paid him to punch me. I filed charges on him. I just come from the hospital at 1:30.
Wait, who punched you in the eye?
A young black brother.
Another inmates at the jail.
Oh my gosh.
He does have some medical issues. He had a finger cut off.
All right, everyone, please whisper. And what's the other medical issue?
He had finger was cut off.
Amputation from construction. I was working construction. We was told to put some truss over the water hydrant that they was coming, the city of New Brunswick was coming to inspect. And the truss slipped and smashed and crushed and broke my finger. It became osteomyelitis. My finger was amputated. But I have a lawsuit.
Okay.
J.A. Davis and Associates.
All right. So I'm assuming they're not having you around that inmate anymore.
I don't know, because just morning when I came back from, he had some friends here, I charged them with assault. Because
All
the
right,
minute
so-
he assaulted me, they took him down to the magistrate and the magistrate for assault.
All right. So do you want me to let the deputies know that you're having issues at the jail and they can request that you're in protective custody?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So Deputy Laura, on Seth McDonald, he'll need to be in protective custody. All right. So they're going to make a note and they'll make sure that happens.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So where are we on discovery?
So discovery for this case, we should be in fine shape, Your Honor.
All right. He only has this one case or he has another one?
We just learned today that the state does have another case. Unfortunately, it means that we were trying to hope to get an offer today. And the other case is a sexual assault case.
Okay.
But-
So here's my question with the other case. Where are you with regards to maybe giving them discovery? And we'll make sure that you're appointed to that case as well.
Counsel is going to reach out to our intake attorney, Your Honor, and inquire as to where they're at with it. And yeah, from there, I think we'll be in good shape, depending on what that communication yields.
I'll reach out to Victoria Fernandez and see if we can get something going.
All right. Ms. Ferguson, let's put this at the end of July. Sir, if they have information before the end of July, your attorney can let us know and we'll bring you back sooner.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Lord.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, we'll bring you back on July 30th.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes.
Thanks, Judge.
And Deputy Laura, is there anything else he needs to know to be placed in protective custody or anything he needs to do? All right, so remind them at the jail that you're in protective custody and counsel, if you'll see to that as well. Court is calling 2024 CR 2276, State of Texas versus Christy A. Hemian. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state
Andrew Harris, Salem.
defense?
Stephen Harkowitz for Christy Hemian.
And how do you pronounce your last name? Hemian. All right. And are you Miss Hemian?
Yes.
You had entered a plea on April 22nd, and it was set for a long time, set in June 13th for sentencing. It's the court's understanding that both parties wish to change the plea bargain agreement. Is that correct, defense?
That's correct, Judge.
Is that correct, state?
Indeed, Your Honor.
All right. According to the plea bargain agreement, you want to withdraw your application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Ms. Hemian, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Christy Hemian.
Okay. You did understand that the state and your counsel had previously agreed to a sentence of deferred adjudication?
Yes.
And it is the court's understanding through both attorneys that you no longer wish to be on probation. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that the plea bargain agreement, you're withdrawing your deferred adjudication, community supervision application. Is that correct?
Yes.
And both parties are agreeing that you be sentenced to 2 years in the prison. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are you agreeing to the 2-year sentence?
Yes.
State, is that the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. The court has reviewed the previous stipulation. The court will find there's sufficient evidence from reviewing the stipulations, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will sentence you to 2 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. I'm going to request the therapeutic community. It does not increase the time that you're in custody. However, it can help you if you have any drug issues. You understand?
Okay.
There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, that's the one where the judge goes along with the plea bargain. You have no right to appeal the case.
Yes.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you. Jose Posadas Mata.
Good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
I'm happy to be here.
Aw, it's good seeing you as always.
She's gonna translate the legalese for me, Judge. I can't speak all these legal terms.
All right, so were you able to reach out to the complainant?
We were able to reach out for Your Honor, and we were able to establish some contact and communication.
All right, so today is the plea deadline date.
Yes, Your Honor. And I believe at this time, respectfully, the counsel would prefer to set a date for trial.
All right. Miss, this is your last chance to enter a plea unless there's good cause. This is going to be going to trial and the court will not consider any plea bargain agreements without good cause. Otherwise, you have to plead open to the court. Does everyone understand?
Yes, Judge.
All right, and state on this one, you did, both parties did sign a discovery acknowledgement. Is there any updated discovery that defense maybe has not received?
No, Your Honor, even with the communications that we received today, I just showed counsel my phone, so they knew everything that I knew.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And there's no CPS records related to this case?
There should be no outstanding things with respect to discovery inclusive of that.
And counsel, I know you said that you would take care of any immigration consequences.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, and so has that been completed?
Well, now that we're going to trial, Your Honor, it'll be explained further.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge.
How long do y'all expect this jury trial to last? All right, 2 days. August 13th? All right, your jury trial will be August 13th. You'll be brought over dressed for trial in whatever civilian clothes you were arrested in. If you wish to be attired in something different, you'll need to speak to your attorney and do a clothing exchange. Counsel, if there is an issue with the clothing exchange, just let the court know and I'll see if I can help facilitate that.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. We appreciate it.
All right, is there anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I be excused as well?
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, and before we start, why is your client in custody?
There's a warrant for her arrest on the pending motion to revoke probation. There's no bond on the pending motion to revoke probation.
All right, court is calling 2023 CR 8093, State of Texas versus Monica Wade. Could I have parties announced for the record?
Jenny Callahan defense.
All right, on the order that I have, it has Monica Garza. So is her last name Garza or Wade?
Wade.
Wade. All right, any objection to the court correcting that?
No objection.
All right, this is a request for a bond on a motion to revoke. Is there a proposed agreement?
No agreement.
All right, State, what are you requesting? For bond, I'm sorry, for bond amount, what are you requesting?
20,000, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Defense, what are you requesting?
That she be placed on the current bond of her pending indictment and with terms modified to GPS tracking. No additional amount would be first request. And the second amount would be 5,000, Your Honor.
All right, what was her original bond set on this?
Much.
20,000.
Okay. All right, this is what the court is going to do, and the court will note for the record that the court is aware of her previous history because this is the court that placed her on community supervision. So I'm aware of the criminal history and I'm aware of any issues related to mental health or drug addiction. The court is going to grant your motion for a bond. Court is going to set the bond at $20,000. The court is going to require a GPS tracking. State, do you have any objection to GPS tracking, or would you like GPS partial? All right, there'll be GPS tracking. Is there anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you to report to probation immediately upon release. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And Ms. Ferguson, did you already give her a reset of July 11th?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Jesse Espino? Hello. What happened to your hand?
Oh, just an infection, but it's already.
Infection from the jail?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, so where are we on this case?
Free from infection. You recognize that movie?
Yes.
Okay, good. We are, it's our first setting, Judge. An offer has been conveyed, Mr. Espino. I don't believe he wants to accept the offer today.
All right, do you have all the discovery?
I believe that I do, Judge, yes.
And is this the only case that's pending?
It is, yes, ma'am. And I've been very recently appointed to Mr. Espino. I really haven't had an opportunity to go through the evidence with him. I'd like to do that. We likely will resolve the case. We're kind of close with our numbers already, but that's just kind of where we are right now.
All right, your plea deadline date is going to be July 8th.
July 8th.
Yes.
I'm just making sure I was going to be here.
No, it's either, I mean, if you, July 8th or July 11th.
The 8th is fine, Judge.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so what's going to end up happening, you're going to come back on July 8th. On that date, you need to let the court know whether or not you're accepting the state's offer. You understand? All right, thank you.
আপনার যদি লাক ভালো থাকে আমাদের সাথে নেক্সট অডিশন রাউন্ডে আপনি যেতে পারবেন। হ্যাঁ,
মানে এটা আপনি কেকের উপর দিতে পারেন না, দিস ইজ প্লাস্টিক, রাইট?
ওকে ওকে।
থ্যাংক ইউ। আপনি ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কুইজিন কি বানাতে পারেন?
ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কুইজিন আমি পারি না। আমার মনে হয় আপনি একটু সময় নেন, ভালো করে শিখেন। জি।
হ্যালো শেফ, হ্যালো ম্যাম, হ্যালো ম্যাম।
হ্যালো।
এটা হলো আমি করেছি কোয়েল বেগুনের কালাই টাক। আমার আঞ্চলিকতাকেই আমি ফিউশন হিসেবে এখানে তুলে ধরেছি। আর পাশে ডেজার্ট হিসেবে রেখেছি জাম্বুরা খোসার মালাই চাপিটা।
ইন্টারেস্টিং। এটা প্লেট করা কোথা থেকে শিখলেন?
এমএ কমপ্লিট করার পরে যখন ঢাকাতে চাকরি প্রিপারেশনের জন্য যাই, তখন ওখান থেকে 3 মাসের একটা কোর্স করেছিলাম। ওখানে আপনার ডেকোরেশন, প্লেটিং অনেক কিছু শিখাইছিল। ছোটোখাটো কিছু ওখান থেকে শেখা হয়েছে। আর ইউটিউব, সুপার শেফ, মাস্টার শেফ, কানাডিয়ান, অস্ট্রেলিয়ান এইসব দেখেই শিখেছি। আর আপনার ফুড নিয়ে এক্সপেরিমেন্ট করতে ভালোবাসি। খাদ্যের অবশিষ্ট অংশ ফেলে দিয়ে আমরা অনেক সময় নষ্ট করি, যাতে ওইগুলো আমরা ফুড হিসেবে আবার প্লেটিং করতে পারি, সেই হিসাবে এটা আমার করা। জাম্বুরার খোঁজ।
সেরা রাঁধুনিতে কি ফার্স্ট টাইম?
না, এবার দিয়ে আমার সেকেন্ড টাইম।
আচ্ছা।
এর আগের বার আমি এসেছিলাম আপনার ওই টিমে ছিলাম।
আপনি কিচেনে কাজ করেন না কেন? হোটেল বা রেস্টুরেন্টে কাজ করেন না?
আমি আপনার 17-18 মাস মতন কাজ করেছিলাম পাবনা রূপপুর পারমাণবিকের পাশে, মানে অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট হিসেবে ঢুকেছিলাম। পরে শেফ চলে যাওয়ার কারণে পুরো আমি হ্যান্ডেল করতাম ওইটা।
কিচেন লাইনে কাজ করতে চান?
অফকোর্স, এই জন্যই এখনো এর পিছনেই ছুটছে।
আপনার আইডিয়াস অনেক ভালো, ফুড আইডিয়াস অনেক ভালো, ফুডের টেস্ট অনেক ভালো।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
আপনার খুব ভালো চেষ্টা ছিল, আর আমরা নতুন রেসিপি দেখলাম।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
তো আমার মনে হলো আপনাকে আমরা একটা ওয়েটিং কার্ড দিই। আপনার যদি লাক ভালো থাকে আমাদের সাথে নেক্সট অডিশন রাউন্ডে আপনি যেতে পারবেন।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
আমার মাঝে আমি সেরা রাঁধুনি।
আমি নিয়ে এসেছি প্লেন রাইস, সর্ষে ইলিশ, আর হচ্ছে একটা ডাউল রান্না, বাড়িতে নর্মালি যেটা রান্না হয় আর কি, আর হচ্ছে 3 পদের ভর্তা।
এতটুকু তো এনাফ না সেরা রাঁধুনি হওয়ার জন্য।
কি রেসিপি বানিয়েছেন আজকে?
এটা স্যার ফ্রাইড চিকেন আর ফ্রাইড রাইস।
বাসায় রান্না করেন?
জি জি।
কি ধরনের রান্না?
নর্মাল রান্নাগুলো আম্মু করে, আর একটু মানে অন্যরকম রান্নাগুলো আমি করে আসি।
আম্মু তো সেরা রাঁধুনিতে গিয়ে রান্না করে দিয়ে আসে।
না না, নর্মাল রান্নাও পারি ম্যাম, নর্মাল রান্নাও পারবো।
একটু স্কিলটা বাড়াতে হবে। হ্যাঁ,
জি, আমি নিয়ে আসছি অ্যারাবিয়ান চিকেন খাফসা।
এখানে স্টার অনিস ব্যবহার করেছো? স্টার অনিস অনেক বেশি স্ট্রং ফ্লেভার আছে।
খাপসা নিয়ে এসেছি, এটা খাপসা হয়নি।
আবার আসবে।
চিকেন ললিপপ সাথে একটু সুইটের জন্য চকলেট কেক নিয়ে এসেছি।
ললিপপের সাথে রাইস যায় না।
চিকেন ললিপপ ইজ আ স্টার্টার।
এই জিনিসগুলো অবশ্যই মাথায় রাখতে হবে।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
শারমিন কি বানিয়েছেন আজকে?
আমি এটা কাঁচা পেঁপের লাড্ডু বানিয়েছি।
শারমিন এটা আপনার নিজের রেসিপি? ইটস রিয়েলি গুড। আমি খাওয়া স্টপ করতে পারছি না। আপনি ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কুইজিন কি বানাতে পারেন?
ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কুইজিন আমি পারি না।
আমার মনে হয় আপনি একটু সময় নেন, ভালো করে শিখেন।
জি
ফারজান আক্তার মিম,
জি।
কি বানিয়েছো?
পায়েস।
এত বড় প্লেটে কেন?
আসলে ডেকোরেশনের জন্য একটু বড়ই নিয়েছিলাম।
ডেকোরেশনের জন্য তো ভালো লাগছে না।
পায়েস সাধারণত এভাবে সার্ভ হয় না।
আপনার নাম বলবেন আর কি রেসিপি বানিয়েছেন সেটা?
আমার নাম মোহাম্মদ শাফিউল আলম, ডিশের নাম লেয়ার হ্যাভেন টিট।
এটা হ্যাভেন কোন দিক থেকে হলো?
একটা স্মুথি ভাব আসে এই জন্যে।
যে একটা বাইট দিলাম আর একদম উড়ে হ্যাভেন। আমি খেয়ে যেটা দেখলাম কেকটা খুবই ড্রাই। সরি টু সে আমি যেতে পারি নাই হ্যাভেন।
অডিশন রাউন্ডে বিচারকদের কাছে প্রতিযোগীদের রেসিপির পাশাপাশি ফুড প্রেজেন্টেশন, কুকিং স্কিল, নলেজ, সেলফ কনফিডেন্স সহ বিভিন্ন বিষয়ে পরীক্ষার সম্মুখীন হতে হয়। সেই পরীক্ষায় অনেকেই বিচারকদের প্রত্যাশা পূরণ করতে পারেননি, তাই সেরা রাঁধুনি হওয়ার স্বপ্ন তাদের এখানেই থেমে যায়।
অয়েল ফ্রি আলু পনির। এটা
পনিরটা কিভাবে বানিয়েছে?
পনিরটা এটা কেনা পনির।
তাহলে তা আলুও বাজার থেকে কেনা। তাহলে আপনার কি?
আমার রান্না রেসিপি আমার।
আমার নাম নাসরিন আক্তার মিম। আমি আজকে করেছি ভ্যানিলা কেক, সাথে আমি করেছি হাঁসের মাংস।
কেকের সাথে হাঁসের মাংস।
কেকটা এখানে কেন, মানে টপ থেকে এডিবল?
নো,
সো এটা এডিবল না। এন্ড দেন হোয়াই ডিড ইউ পুট?
এটাও এডিবল না, এটা হচ্ছে
Plastic on
প্রপার। হ্যাঁ,
মানে এটা আপনি কেকের উপর দিতে পারেন না। দিস ইজ প্লাস্টিক, রাইট?
ওকে ওকে।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
Làm cho chú cá này uyển chuyển này, bơi lội. Với cái phần vây là cái màu cam nha. Mình đã tô xong cái phần vây ở đuôi nha. Mình đang tô cái phần vây của chú cá ở phần lưng nha. Mình tiếp tục tô cái phần vây ở chỗ phần dưới của đầu nè. Phần vây là rất là dài nha.
আমি আছি বগুড়ায়, আর বগুড়ার সব সেরা রাঁধুনিরা তাদের হাতের খাবার নিয়ে চলে এসেছেন। কেমন করছেন তারা, চলুন দেখা যাক। দর্শক, অসংখ্য প্রতিযোগীর মধ্য থেকে প্রাথমিকভাবে বাছাইকৃত প্রতিযোগীরা আজ হাজির হয়েছে বগুড়াতে। প্রত্যেকের স্বপ্ন একটাই, হতে চায় সেরা রাঁধুনি, এবং একটু পরেই তারা মুখোমুখি হবে বিচারকদের। তারা কি ভাবছেন, মনের মধ্যে কিরকম দুশ্চিন্তা হচ্ছে, কে কি রেসিপি নিয়ে এসেছেন এবং তাদের জন্য কতটা সহজ হবে ঢাকায় যাওয়ার টিকিট পাওয়া, কথা বলবো প্রতিযোগীদের সাথে, দেখি তারা কি ভাবছেন। কেমন আছেন?
ভালো আছি, আপনি ভালো আছেন?
আপনার রেসিপি কি?
আমার রেসিপিটা হচ্ছে ক্যারামেল অরেঞ্জ ইয়োগার্ট।
ওকে, এটার মূল ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্টস কি?
তার মূল ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্ট হচ্ছে দই, বগুড়ার বিখ্যাত দই, আমি সেটা দিয়ে ফিউশন করার ট্রাই করেছি।
আপনি এর আগেও অংশ নিয়েছিলেন সম্ভবত 1427 এবং গ্র্যান্ড অডিশন থেকে বাদ পড়েছিলেন, রাইট?
রাইট।
এবারের রেসিপি কি?
এবারের রেসিপি হচ্ছে আমার চকলেট মোকা স্ট্রবেরি চিজ কেক। অল আর মাই সিক্রেট রেসিপি, সো আই এম ভেরি এক্সাইটেড।
কুমু কেমন আছেন?
ভালো আছি, আপনি কেমন আছেন?
খুব ভালো। এর আগে 1427 লাকি 7 থেকে বাদ পড়েছিলেন, এবার কি মনে হচ্ছে?
প্রথমবারের যে অভিজ্ঞতা, বর্তমানে আমি তারপর আরো 2 বছর সময় নিয়েছি, শিখেছি, তো নিজেকে এবারে তৈরি করে এনেছি, ইনশাল্লাহ ভালো কিছু একটা হবে।
আপনার রেসিপির মূল বৈশিষ্ট্য কি?
আমার রেসিপির মূল বৈশিষ্ট্য হচ্ছে গ্রাম্য মানে আমার গ্রামের যে জিনিসপত্র সে প্রেজেন্ট করবো।
একসঙ্গে কতজনের রান্না করতে পারবেন?
আমি যদি বলি, এখন আমাদের বাসায় যত গেস্ট আসে আপ টু 20।
একটু কি ভয় লাগছে?
হ্যাঁ, একটু ভয় কাজ করছে, কারণ ফার্স্ট টাইম কোনো রিয়েলিটি শোতে আসছি।
তারপর আপনার জন্য শুভকামনা রইল।
সো মাচ।
দর্শক, ভয় তো লাগবেই এবং এই ভয়কে জয় করাই হচ্ছে যে কোনো প্রতিযোগীর কাজ। সেরা রাঁধুনি কিন্তু একটা লম্বা প্রতিযোগিতা এবং এই রেসে টিকে থাকার জন্য আপনাকে অবশ্যই অন্যদের চাইতে বেটার রেসিপি দিতে হবে এবং সেই রেসিপির মধ্য দিয়ে কিন্তু যারা আমাদের বিচারক রয়েছেন তাদের মন জয় করতে হবে। সো দেখা যাক কি হয়, আমাদের সঙ্গেই থাকুন। দর্শক, আমাদের মাঝে বিচারকেরা চলে এসেছেন। একটু পরেই শুরু হবে ফুড টেস্টিং এবং সেই সাথে জাজমেন্ট। আমি এবার কথা বলবো আমাদের বিচারকদের সাথে, দেখি তারা কি ভাবছেন। ওয়েলকাম টু বগুড়া অডিশন। কি খবর?
ভালো, তুমি কেমন আছো?
আমি খুব ভালো আছি এবং আমি ভুল না করলে এবার দিয়ে বোধহয় 5ম বারের মতো আপনি আসলে বিচারকের দায়িত্ব পালন করছেন। বগুড়ার প্রতিযোগী, সর্বোপরি এবারের প্রতিযোগীদের নিয়ে আপনার কি বলার আছে?
প্রত্যাশা তো অনেক বেশি, কারণ বগুড়া সবসময় সব সিজনেই অনেক ভালো ভালো পার্টিসিপেন্টস আমরা পেয়ে থাকি সেরা রাঁধুনিতে। তো এবারেও আমি আশা করছি যে অ্যাটলিস্ট টপ 5 পর্যন্ত যেন যেতে পারে, এরকম পার্টিসিপেন্টস আমরা এখান থেকে নিয়ে যেতে পারি, এটাই আমাদের প্রত্যাশা।
শেফ নাইম আশরাফ দ্বিতীয়বারের মতো সেরা রাঁধুনির অডিশনের দায়িত্ব পালন করছেন বিচারকের। কেমন লাগছে বা কি মনে করছেন এবারের এই আয়োজন নিয়ে?
সেরা রাঁধুনি গত সিজনে আমরা রংপুর দিয়ে শুরু করেছিলাম, সো এবার বগুড়াতে নতুন পার্টিসিপেন্টসদের খাওয়া ট্রাই করার জন্য ভেরি এক্সাইটেড। রেসিপি সিলেকশনে আমি সবগুলো রেসিপি দেখেছি, সিলেক্ট করেছি, সো ওগুলো খাওয়ার জন্য এবার এখানে আশা করি অনেক ভালো পার্টিসিপেন্টস বগুড়া থেকে পাবো।
অনেক অনেক ভালোবাসা। আমার মনে হয় আমি আর সময় নষ্ট না করি, আপনার ভেতরে চলে যান।
তোমাকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ।
থ্যাংক ইউ। দর্শক, আমাদের প্রধান 2 বিচারককে তো পেয়ে গেছি, কিন্তু বগুড়াতে রয়েছেন আমাদের আরও একজন অতিথি বিচারক। তিনি ঠিক কোথায় আমি এখনো জানি না, তাকে খুঁজে পাচ্ছি না। তিনি এলেই কিন্তু শুরু হয়ে যাবে আমাদের মূল অডিশন রাউন্ড।
আমার মাঝে আমি সেরা রাঁধুনি।
Mình đã xong con nhím với cái màu nâu này nhá. Phần những lá mình sẽ tô bằng màu xanh. Bánh trồng cây mình cũng tô bằng màu xanh nha. Đây nữa nè. Đây là các phần cái cây nhỏ ở dưới của một cái tán lá cây to nhá. Những cây cỏ nhỏ ở dưới á. Phần gốc cây mình sẽ tô bằng cái màu nâu nè. Thân cây. Đây là cái màu nâu nha. Phần thân cây mình sẽ tô bằng cái màu nâu nha. Một gốc cây cổ thụ rất là to. Với tán lá này mình sẽ tô bằng cái màu xanh lá này nhá.
আপনার রাইস যেটা জি খুব যে খারাপ হয়েছে সেটা না
On top of that, it is slightly overcooked.
আমার নাম প্রীতি ইসলাম আমি আজকে কোকোনাট রাইস রান্না করেছি কোকোনাট রাইস উইথ গ্রিল চিকেন অ্যান্ড কোরিয়ান্ডার সস সাথে পামকিনের আরেকটা সস দিয়েছি ডেজার্টে দিয়েছি বাহারি মোহনভোগ
আপনার মানে এই যে রেসিপি জি সব কিছু মিলিয়ে কি মনে হয় সেরা রাঁধুনিতে পার্টিসিপেট করার জন্য এটা দিস ইজ বেস্ট রেসিপি
জি আমার কাছে মনে হয় যে এটা বেস্ট হবে
প্রীতি ফার্স্ট থিং আমি আপনাকে টেকনিক্যাল জিনিসটা বলি
Yeah, sure.
ঠিক আছে ইটস ভেরি ড্রাই সেকেন্ড জিনিস হলো গিয়ে হোল রোস্ট ইজ নট দি আইডিয়াল থিং টু ডু ওয়েন ইউ আর সার্ভিং দিস অ্যাট আ রেস্টুরেন্ট অর এরকম একটা কুকিং শোতে ইউ ডোন্ট এক্সপেক্ট দ্য জাজেস অর দ্য কাস্টমার এটাকে কেটে নেবে অন টপ অফ দ্যাট ইট ইজ স্লাইটলি ওভারকুকড
এখন একটু আমরা টেস্ট করে দেখি আপনার রাইস যেটা জি খুব যে খারাপ হয়েছে সেটা না, ভালো, থ্যাংক ইউ। আর ডেজার্টটাও মাইল্ড, মানে মিষ্টির ব্যালেন্সটা ভালো আছে। জি জি। কিন্তু ব্যাপারটা হয় কি যে যখন আমরা অডিশনে আসি তখন এতগুলো জিনিস দিয়ে আসলে অডিশন না। আমি জেনেছি কারণ আমি হচ্ছে ফুল প্ল্যাটারটাই সার্ভ করতে ঠিক আছে, আমার ইন্টেনশন এতগুলো না দিয়েও আপনি শুধু একটার উপর যদি ফোকাস দিতেন জি জি তাও মনে হয় আপনার আমি বেস্ট হতো। সবগুলোর উপরে সমান ফোকাস দিয়েছি, বাই মিস্টেকেনলি একটু ফল্ট হয়েছে হয়তো, কিন্তু আমি চেষ্টা করছি খুব যত্ন করে করার অ্যাকচুয়ালি।
আসলে যত্নের ছোঁয়া এখানে আছে, আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি, এবং রেসিপির মধ্যেও আমার কাছে ভিন্নতা লেগেছে, আর কিছু টেকনিক্যাল ফল্ট আছে। তো আমার মনে হয় ওইগুলো যদি একটু কারেকশন করা যায় তাহলে ইট ওয়াজ গুড।
প্রীতি, দ্য চিকেন হ্যাজ ফ্লেভার, চিকেনটা মজা, সসটাও মজা, রাইট, বাট বেসিকে প্রবলেম হয়ে গেছে। বেসিক ইজ আপনার কুকিংটাই তো ওভারকুকড।
আমাকে অ্যাকচুয়ালি পোলট্রি চুজ করতে হতো মেবি এই ক্ষেত্রে।
ফার্মের মুরগি ইউজ করলে মনে হয়
পোলট্রিটা বেশি জুসি,
অফ কোর্স।
আমার এটা ফল্ট হয়েছে, এটা আমি বুঝছি।
প্রীতি, আই থিঙ্ক ওভারঅল টেস্ট ভালো আছে, অ্যান্ড আই থিঙ্ক ইটস আ গুড এফোর্ট। উই ওয়ান্ট টু গিভ ইউ আ চান্স।
থ্যাংক ইউ, থ্যাংক
ওয়েট
ইউ।
করেন, আসেন, আপনাকে ওয়েটিং কার্ড দেওয়া হবে।
আমার খুবই ভালো লাগছে যে আমি ওয়েটিং কার্ডটা পেয়ে গেছি। আমি কিন্তু কনফিডেন্ট ছিলাম যে আমি ওয়েটিং কার্ডটা পাবো, আর আমি এখন অপেক্ষায় আছি নেক্সট রাউন্ডে ঢাকা যাওয়ার জন্য। আমি আশাবাদী যে আমি ঢাকা পর্যন্ত যেতে পারবো।
Học đi con. Ôi chơi lắm cái này.
Con phải lên, con đánh câu của bạn. Con dạy bạn. Xong rồi cũng đã không mua. Thế bạn em lại mà. Thầy gì ở đây luôn.
Thôi học đi. Không đi lắng cái này đâu con ơi.
Con có mũ mà.
Thì nhà sẽ tô phần con ơi, đi đâu ấy? Con mình sẽ tô cái phần chúng mẹ Hello Kitty này bằng cái màu hồng nhá, hồng phấn này. Đôi môi là màu đỏ nè. Mình đã tô xong phần đầu với cái màu hồng nhá.